Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the Player 3 podcast. I'm your host, Luke Croft. Alongside me, we have the always visually stunning Larry Hunt.
I finally cut my hair. I feel visually stunning again.
You look visually stunning as well.
I mostly did this myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Looks nice.
The guy cut the sides, and he's like, yeah, I've only been doing this for 2 months. And I was like, oh, that's terrifying. And it was. And then he got finished, and I went home and tried to spike it up, and the hair on top of my head was this long. He didn't even touch it.
You're legitimately attractive, though.
Thank you.
And then over here on my other side, we have He Can Fix You a Nice Delicious Glass of Pepsi and Steal Your Daughter's Heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Martin.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
And then over here on my far right, we have Benjamin D. Hankins.
Hi. The D doesn't stand for anything anymore. The D stands for don't troll me in the chat because you'll get timed out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If Milky513 is in here. And then man in the chat over here, we have Dizzy. That's already his nickname, Cooper. And then back with a half recovery from his cancer, Gary. He's it's calmed him down a little, all right?
A little woozy.
We are the Player 3 podcast. We get together every Monday, talk about video games, push it out to you live over here on twitch.tv/Player3podcast, and then you can catch the archive on youtube.com/Player3podcast or on iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. I have great news.
What's your news?
I have two pieces of great news.
What's your news?
Number one, we have went to the unlimited plan on Podbean. So we will be able to do more shows or possibly do 3-Topic Thursday in audio form or, however we choose to want to do that. It means more content and better quality content so I don't have to, cut corners when exporting the podcast. So be looking out for that.
Unlimited means no limit on the stream options that we have. I'm trying out rap today. P.S.
I am testing out the rap scene.
And then my second piece of good news is that I was the winner of a Metal Gear Solid prize pack from Kind of Funny Games.
You mentioned this to me, and I want to know all about it right now. Tell me about it.
Okay, all right. So it's going to come with a jacket that's got...
May I have this jacket?
Huh? No.
No.
Then
I will ask you one more time.
You can have the Miller sunglasses, though.
Let me have the jacket.
Really?
Yeah. You can have the Miller sunglasses.
When does it arrive?
I don't know.
All right, tell me all about it.
I'm working on it. So it comes with that. It comes with a messenger bag that no, you cannot have.
Okay.
Can I have it?
No. It comes with some patches.
May I have them?
You can have a patch. You're the Metal Gear fan here, so I'm being generous to you.
Okay.
So, and then it comes with a in-box special edition Peace Walker PSP that is very rare that he got from that Greg Miller got from Konami. So what's going to happen is when that baby arrives, the following podcast we will do an unboxing at the beginning. That way we can share it with the kind of funny fans out there, and they can check it out.
Now I just need to get contacts so I can wear those glasses and actually see.
That is true. So
Yeah.
I was giving them to you because I can't use them, but you can't use them.
I can.
Either, so
How big is this jacket going to be?
Huh?
How big is this jacket?
It's an extra large.
Oh crap!
I have perfect vision.
I can use the glasses.
You don't.
Ben, you don't play Metal Gear.
I don't like Metal Gear at all. May I have the glasses?
I know who eats snakes.
Ocelot's got some cool sunglasses this game too. You don't get any Ocelot sunglasses?
These are the Miller sunglasses. All right.
How about the first person on the podcast to eat an entire snake gets the glasses?
I ate a snake for breakfast this
Deal.
morning. Suck my toe.
Whoever
All right.
eats a full snake?
Moving on.
That's easy.
So be on the lookout for all of those things. But let's get this week started like we get every week started.
Over.
With the releases of the week.
Releases of the week, clap, clap.
All right.
Releases of the week, clap, clap.
Yes.
It's like my hype.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap,
Yeah.
clap, clap.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think after the busy week that we had this week, this is a much slower week for us. So the only thing that's going to be releasing on both consoles this week is the FIFA 16 demo. But that's all for both. So let's move to the drop on PS4. We're going to have...
Drop.
No.
Absolutely not.
We're going to have Arcade Archives Ajax. Ajax is a shooter released in 1987. Players play as Special Combat Troops, codenamed Ajax, with the goal of destroying an army of alien invaders. So from south of the border. This work was ahead of its time, using flashy Yeah. This work was ahead of its time, using flashy sound effects and musical scores, and was one of the first games ported to a consumer game console.
Whoa.
Then we have Ascendant. Ascendant is the unforgiving beat-em-up that challenges you with a new world each time you play. It utilizes a number of modern roguelike elements, such as permadeath and procedurally generated environments.
I like it.
Then Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse. Paris in the spring. Shots ring out from a gallery. A robbery, a murder, and the beginning of an epic broken sword adventure, playing as intrepid American George Stobart and sassy French journalist Nico Collard.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
You find yourself on the trail of a stolen painting. And then
Fat City. Oh,
that's coming out on Vita. It came out on PS4.
Nobody cares about Vita, Seth.
You shut your dirty mouth right now. Then we have Hypervoid. This is the first time space battles occur not only in the depths of galaxies, but right inside cross-dimensional wormholes. Punch your way through waves and waves of enemies from all races in the universe as you travel through volatile and crazy wormholes. Yet another Donald Trump game.
It's really important that they said all races there.
Yes.
All lives matter.
That's right.
Oh, gosh.
I saw my buddy posted a picture the other day. It was like a picture of two labs, and one was like Black Labs Matter, and one was like All Labs Matter.
Even the meth ones.
Meth labs.
Yeah.
All right, and then we also have releasing on PS4 Knock Knock. This game I actually looked into. I know there's really good Knock Knock joke, but you have to start it.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Donald Trump.
Why
Seriously,
did Susie
show me your
fall off the
papers.
swing?
Why?
She didn't have any arms. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not Susie.
All right, Knock Knock is a pocket of chaos that serves as a direct contradiction to the belief that the world can be made sense of at all.
Yeah,
I was reading
the podcast.
I was reading up about this game, and it's actually like a fan idea that was sent into this studio that had like all of this lore and all these documents to go along with it, and they actually brought the game to life by the suggestion of this fan. So it's pretty cool. And then we have Leo's Fortune. Leo's Fortune is a platform adventure game where you hunt down the cunning and mysterious thief that stole your gold. Beautifully handcrafted levels bring the story of Leo to life in this epic adventure. And this is a game that released on like iPad and iOS before, and now it's coming to the PS4.
I think Larry has a question.
Oh, yes.
How does one handcraft a level?
It's like hand-drawn, and then you...
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
See,
pretty
that's the best looking fuzzball that I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty good. I mean, he's got a mustache.
Do we still not have a
gorgeous
screen
level.
capture?
No, I need...
Screen capture.
it's just going to take some me sitting down one day and just deciding to do it.
Well, I'm going to need you to get on your butt and do that.
All right. Well,
screen
then,
capture.
well, thanks for
We
tuning
need
into
to
the
get it.
podcast this
Need
week,
that
guys.
screen capture. Come
All
on,
right.
Luke. Get it straight. Come on, do it.
No. The raps are worse than
Yeah,
the jingle.
this is horrible. We're all going to vote no on this.
Don't
And
like the rest.
if he continues in the rap game, Diz, just mute his mic. All right. And then we have Tearaway Unfolded. Tearaway Unfolded invites you on a journey to help your plucky messenger make a very important delivery. Reach into your TV with your DualShock 4 to unleash gusts of wind, to unfold hidden areas, confound enemies, and ride a paper plane. They didn't use the Oxford comma, so I'm going to stay away from this game.
How many people do you think are gonna like reach through the TV with their DualShock 4 by chucking it at the TV?
I demand a refund.
Probably all of them. Tearaway was the game. They had a game that released on Vita that really made use of all the touch features on that, and so a lot of people are excited to see what they can do with the kind of unique features of the PlayStation 4. So that'll be an interesting game. That's everything that's releasing on the PS4, and then as far as I know, because they don't release their digital stuff on Mondays, there's nothing exclusively coming out on the Xbox One this week. So that is your releases of the week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap. You just really screwed me up there. I was going to do the rap, and then you did operatic,
Exactly.
and then I was going to try to do
He saved you from a quick
regular.
mute. Then apparently it's boring to hear me read the descriptions of the games.
Who says that?
Simpatico Squirrel.
Simpy.
Seriously.
You taste good as a gravy.
Squirrel gravy? I've never had it.
Human
Very
gravy.
tasty.
Oh,
Which isn't that what James Roday's movie Gravy is about? Cannibals?
About cannibal gravy?
Yeah.
What if you
swallow the gravy.
if you eat a human who eats humans? You're
Yes.
still a cannibal.
All right, moving on to the news.
News with the podcast, guys.
I don't think Ben knows what rap means.
No, I don't think so either. What's up, Fluffy Man? 874-543. Seriously, Ben. We are about to vote you off the island, all right?
Just throw this coffee in his face. It'll be like that Hawthorne Heights video. He'll scream and it'll be epic.
Make sure you throw like that coffee in my face.
Okay, first item on the list. There is a new Xbox One Elite bundle that's going to feature a 1 terabyte hybrid drive. That's it's partitioned, partly solid state and then disk based. And it will come with an Elite controller, and it's going to retail for $500.
That's a controller with the triggers on the back, right?
Yeah, it's the $150 pro gamer controller
and the super fancy directional pad.
Yeah. And so essentially how this is going to work is your Xbox will learn the games and the processes that you use the most and will transfer them from the disk drive onto the solid state drive for you. So like your boot up processes will all default to there, but if you use your Friends app and play a lot of The Witcher or whatever, those will move over to the solid state drive so that they can run more quickly. And it's actually going to increase the performance by around 20% for your Xbox. So that's pretty cool.
That's substantial.
Yeah. What were your thoughts when you guys saw this?
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't hate the price point for what you're getting. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool price point.
It's just one of those things where I have one. I guess I'm not really that concerned. It's pretty cool. It's a good idea. If something were to happen on my Xbox, I mean, that would be something I might look into. But
yeah, the fact that you're basically getting this for the price of what a regular Xbox is retailing for, plus the $150, but you're also upgrading to a 1 terabyte hybrid hard drive, is something that's really interesting. But I really don't think this is going to be one of those things that people are going to be able to, are going to want to like jump ship from the Xbox they already own to go and get it. Because if you're interested in the Elite controller, you might as well just go buy that and not worry about buying a whole entire bundle.
I didn't think to pay attention to this. Is there a Kinect? Probably not.
No, there's not a Kinect. No, I don't think there was a single bundle that's been announced for this fall that comes with a Kinect. So we're all alone. We're all alone, boys. Not you.
Not me. I don't have one.
He's laughing. He's laughing, but what he doesn't understand is how awesome the Kinect technology is.
I don't have it, so I never have to worry about it. It's like I was born blind.
Sort of like the Amish.
Yeah. Kinda, yeah.
Well, I don't know. They have Rumspringa.
Huh?
They go out and experience the world.
What'd you say?
Rumspring?
Rumspringer.
That's right. They get to go live it up for a while.
Yeah. They like go out and do all kinds of drugs and beers and liquors and stuff.
They
sow
do
their wild
beer.
oats.
They do beers.
They go to sow their wild oats.
And they sow their wild oats, and then they
They're like, do I want to keep being Amish?
exactly.
Did you read but did you listen to the Art of Manliness podcast about technology? And did you know that the Amish don't just reject all technology? They actually kind of have a voting process on it where they observe the technology and say, is this going to make our way of life better? And if it doesn't, they won't use it. But if it will, then they'll adopt it.
So that's how
Like
they
TV.
that's how they get to make like the electronic fireplaces and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay.
So
They had a vote, and yeah.
pure democracy.
How has TV not gotten voted into that community yet?
As someone who enjoys TV, I recognize that it's a huge drain on my time, and that I would probably have invented a new way of traveling through space if not for television.
That's very true. It's stunted our growth as a society.
Yeah, but it's
and I am
good.
perfectly okay with
Television is the smoking of the masses.
The opium.
That's true. Very true. Next item on the list.
Moving on.
There's a Star Wars Battlefront beta that is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC in October. This is according to an article over at GameSpot. Star Wars Battlefront, the much-anticipated shooter from Battlefield studio DICE, is getting a beta. EA announced on Tuesday that the beta will be held in early October for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. As part of the beta, you'll get to try out Battlefront's massive-scale 40-player mode, Walker Assault on Hoth map. The special hero characters Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker will also be available to unlock. And then it continues on. So What are you guys? I think we can all agree we're all pretty excited about this game.
Now
you right?
This map is the one they did the pre-release footage for, right?
I don't know.
The Hoth.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I thought. Okay. Yeah,
So-
we're all very excited. Well, I am at least.
Oh yes.
Speaking for all of us.
So when you guys get your hands on this beta in October, what is it that you are going to be looking for?
First off, 40-player multiplayer sounds amazing, and I want to see if it actually is amazing.
Well, Battle's pretty cool on Battlefield with a 60-player multiplayer.
I've never experienced it, so
Now I can imagine it being. I mean, it's going to be that much better with Star Wars. Just blasters going everywhere, lasers flying by your head.
it seemed like Battlefield was kind of slower paced. Is that accurate or not?
I don't know. I mean, it
what
depends
map you're
on
on.
the game mode and whatnot.
Okay.
How you.
I only
how you
played
play.
a couple matches, but I want this 40-player thing, but I also want it to be like super fast paced. Just
I equate.
gunfire
My problem
everywhere.
with it was like you've seen The Shining.
Yes.
All right, spoiler alert for The Shining.
If you haven't seen that in the last couple
for
decades,
the film, this is what from like the 60s and 70s, whatever. You've had some time.
Is that Hello Clarice? Is that the one?
No, that's Silence of the Lambs. Basically,
Oh,
there's
okay.
there's this
I mix this up all the time.
old black man caretaker that like leaves the hotel. He's like I guess the summer caretaker, and Jack Nicholson goes to the hotel and he's gonna be the winter caretaker with his family. The old guy goes off back to like Florida for the winter, and he's like enjoying himself. He's got like pictures of like ladies with afros that are naked on his walls and stuff. It's real kind of weird and creepy, but whatever. It's a creepy movie.
Afro ladies.
And basically, he gets kind of a telepathic signal from Jack Nicholson's son. It's telling him to go back. Like there's something wrong because they both have The Shining. And he
it's a
spends
disease.
like an hour of the movie, and that's a very generous time frame. But he spends like half the movie getting to the hotel. Like gets on, I guess, a plane, drives, has to get a snowmobile. He's like walking through the snow at some point through a snowstorm, and he gets there. And he's maybe at the hotel looking for the boy for like 5 minutes before he gets killed. And that is to make a long story short. How I felt like playing Battlefield 4. Because you spawn and they're like around a bunch of jeeps and stuff. And everyone goes. Everyone goes and gets like a jeep or a helicopter or something. And if you don't get that, then you've got to kind of run all the way into the action. And there's a very good chance that as soon as you get there, after spending like 5 minutes running, that you're going to get popped and have to do it all over again.
I feel like this is the single greatest analogy we've ever had on the show.
In the after party lounge, I want you to give us the long version of this.
We'll see what we can do. We got a cookout to go to though.
Yeah, cookout.
That is very
Hey,
true.
a cookout. Hey,
Which I didn't know about. Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm sorry. Wives were talked about in the talk, and
All right,
you don't
all
have
right,
a wife.
moving on.
Sorry.
So I'm really interested in how they're going to implement Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and how that's going to play, and just how awesome and powerful you're going to feel when you get it. Like, is it something that you pick up on the map? Is it something that you unlock after playing a certain amount, or
I think it's like
after
a power
doing-
up, isn't it?
Is it like a super kind of a deal?
That's what it seems like. The idea seems to be. I had someone telling me. I don't know how. I haven't fact checked this, but he's saying that there might be a Jedi versus like a all special character mode.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be a lot of
I
fun.
think it's.
So I need
I
to
think
look
it's
into
like it's like a kill streak thing or
It
something.
probably is. Yeah, that makes the most sense. But I would really dig the idea of like because I'm sure they have a dogfight mode basically, right?
Well,
With
you can
a
get
shooting
vehicles. And
No, I think there's a full on dogfight.
Yeah,
mode.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that it makes sense there would be like a Jedi only mode, or Boba Fett and Jedi's running around and
Boba Fett is
Now-
in this game too. I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Are we talking like spaceship fights or like the NFL thing?
What?
What's his name?
Mike Vick?
Yeah, that's the one.
You need to learn sports before you try to make sports jokes.
Sports.
Is dogfighting a sport now? Are you legitimizing dogfighting?
Yes, that is exactly
That's
what.
what Pokemon is.
It really
It basically
is.
is. You get money for who wins. Pretty much the whole gist of it. Anyways, for me, what I'm looking for in this beta, I don't really like. I know there's gonna be bells and whistles with Star Wars with Battlefront, but I just want to feel immersed into this world. So as long as it's like it runs smooth and like everything feels fluid, like I'll be happy. I don't care about the bells and whistles. I don't care about a lot of the like cool features they're gonna have for fighting and stuff. I just want to feel immersed like in the world. So everything glitches and stuff are not gonna help me feel immersed. I'm saying immersed a lot because people hate that word. And
No, they don't.
I love it. So that's what I want.
That's one of those words I hear people say that there are people that hate it, but I've never heard people say that they hate it.
Yep. It's good. It's good.
I thought it was interesting that, PlayStation has the marketing exclusivity for this game. They're the ones that have the special edition console. There's obviously going to be a bundle that it comes with, and after all the commercials, it shows the PlayStation stuff. That this is going to, by what the article made it sound like, that this is all going to hit at one time, Xbox One, PS4, and the PC all at once. And I figured, if anything, we were going to see it be like a PlayStation 4 gets it 2 weeks ahead of time. So I just thought it was interesting that they didn't decide to go that route. Go ahead.
If we're, I don't want to
No,
move
we're
on.
not.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I've never been really impressed with Battlefield's menu system, and so I'd like to see a much more user-friendly menu system for Battlefront.
Right.
I always find it really confusing and hard to navigate.
Well, that is what we are going to move into now. Great segue.
Just call me Larry Segway Hunt.
Because the thing that makes Battlefield so confusing is that the way that you select to play is through a server list and not necessarily through there are matchmaking options, but the main way people do it is through the server list. But Star Wars Battlefront is not going to feature a server browser. This is according to an article over at IGN. Developer DICE confirmed the news via EA's community manager that they weren't going to have a server browser on the game subreddit page, stating that while server browser will not be available, it will use a new skill-based matchmaking system to match online players. And so this moves away from the way that they've been doing it for years now with Battlefield games, and moves it more to something like really any other shooter, I guess. Halo uses a rank
skill-based
system, but I don't know if Call of Duty does. There are ranks in Call of Duty, but I don't necessarily think it factors into the matchmaking, or I don't know if it's prioritized in the matchmaking.
It does. You play with people at your level.
For the most part, there's usually a balance of like some higher levels, some lower levels.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think it puts you in a game with similar levels, but it tries to split the levels up evenly among teams.
But with Call of Duty, though, like that doesn't matter at all. Like your skill is not based off of what your level is in that game. It's just how much you've been playing. Like
that's true too.
You could be like the worst player in the world and be like a third prestige whatever, and just have been playing for forever, not have a life.
That's true. That's one of the flaws of skill-based matchmaking. But I prefer that much more than connection-based matchmaking.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But see, like with Halo, Halo had I feel like Halo's skill system. I guess it was Halo 2. Who did the skill points? Like you got experience points for winning games, but you also got like a skill point too that like factored into your level. So if you saw somebody who was like a 5-star general, they were.
I think it was Halo
legit,
3.
Like that you knew that their level actually meant how good they were, and you could tell people.
I think you're right. It's Halo 3.
You could tell people like who didn't have like who had a bunch of commendations on a rank that they all they were doing was just getting experience from like riding with people. They weren't actually winning games.
You could get up to a certain level like by just I guess like experience, and then after a certain point you had to win so many games, and if you didn't, then you could actually go down in rank.
Right, and that was a really cool system. And
but also really frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, and I think if this is going to work, because I, unlike you, would prefer something more connection-based rather than skill-based, because what's it matter if I'm playing with somebody who's equally as good as me if they have really, really crappy internet?
That's true, too.
And a lot of people get their skill based off of, the fact that they're playing on crappy connections, and they know how to kind of work the system with it. And so it's going to need to be a true skill-based rank system that can move down, and unlike a Call of Duty rank system where it's kind of representative of the amount of time that you play it. So
and I'd like to see a skill-based system more so. Like I want that prioritized, but I want to be able to know my skill level. Like Halo has, from my understanding, even in Reach and Halo 4, you were paired with people of a similar skill level, but you didn't have any way of telling what your skill level was.
Yeah, it was hidden.
Yeah. And I'm like, what's the point of that? What good does that do me? So I want skill level, but I also would like to know what my skill level is. If I suck, just tell me. It won't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, and I'm with you. It's got to be something that works in a way that's like that's not just arbitrary as to how much time you've spent like playing the game. Like because there are people that because they spend a lot of time, they're good, but there's more people than those that are not good, but they just play the game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for that to be something like I don't know, I guess I'm talking myself back and forth both sides. Like to be on the skill based matchmaking, it needs to be a good leveling system. Like that actually marks good like skill accurately, and then to be on the if not, I'd be on the connection side.
Yeah, and one of the things that I hope they have, because they didn't really have this in Battlefield games, is a party system. You know, like you couldn't party up before going into the game.
Like a lobby.
We just had to be in a party chat and be like, I'm in server whatever, and you have to hope that there was space for you in that server.
Yeah,
as well.
And that was terrible trying to get games together on Battlefield. And
I think they recognize with Battlefront, like, there's going to be a lot of people who may not be into first-person shooters who are jumping onto this game, and so they're going to have to make it as accessible as possible. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Battlefield fans and EA and like Dice Game fans are all up in arms about there not being a server browser, but to kind of serve the majority of the people that are going to put their hands on this game, it's better to just have something where I can say search for game in this game mode and it matches me up. And I hope in the beta we can kind of get a glimpse of how the ranking system is going to work as well. So let's see. Is that all for Battlefront?
Yeah,
sure.
All right. Moving on. Some new details emerged for the Uncharted 4 Collector's Edition, and there will be a season pass available. All of this is releasing on March 18th, 2016. So I'm really excited about the Nathan Drake collection that's coming out, the Uncharted collection that's coming out in October.
You still haven't really played through all of this.
No, I've played bits and pieces of each of the games, well, of 1 and of 3, but I've never played the series all the way through. So I'm really looking forward to being able to do that so that I can get ready for this Uncharted 4. I'm trying to find where it says okay. So you can pay $80 for the special edition or $120 for the Libertalia Collector's Edition, and what you're going to get in the special edition is a Blu-ray, the Uncharted 4 game, obviously, the collectible steelbook case, a 48-page hardcover art book, a Naughty Dog and Pirate Sigil sticker sheet, sold, and then Naughty Dog points a pack of in-game currency to unlock various multiplayer content. And then in the $120 edition, you're getting everything in the special edition, plus a 12-inch premium Nathan Drake statue, 3 multiplayer outfits, 2 custom weapon skins, a Henry Avery Sigil ball cap, and Madagascar sidekick outfits. So really all you're getting physically that's different is this very cute Nathan Drake thing.
And the outfits.
Well,
those are...
Oh.
How cool would it be if they shipped you the actual outfits, too? That'd be so cool. I mean, no, it'd be really stupid.
As a guy who's played these 3 games and enjoys them very much, do either of these editions tickle your fancy here?
No, not at all. I mean, they've got a great story. They've got some really interesting, really fast-paced action gameplay, and that's what draws me to it. I don't need a statue or clothes.
Yeah.
Give me the game. I'm excited for the game.
I'd be in the clothes.
And we've started to see more and more of these like figurines that are coming with the games, because I think the Tomb Raider Special Edition got announced this week as well, and that's going to come with a Lara Croft one. Didn't the Bloodborne one? Did that have a? Was it? No, it was the Order.
The Order did. Titanfall did. Titanfall had a really cool one.
What was Titanfall?
Mortal Kombat did.
It was like I forget which Titan it was, but it was just like the main one from the cover.
Oh, okay.
Big old Titan figure.
So Mortal Kombat did. That was a cool. He got Scorpion.
I didn't really like
his.
That
Was
one.
nice.
He was kind of a cartoony looking Scorpion.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a.
Dead Island had a real troubling one. I can't remember if it was the first Dead Island or Dead Island Riptide, but it came with like the torso of a girl in a bikini. It was disgusting. The like bloodied, mutilated torso.
Neat. Neat.
And then to go along with the Uncharted 4 Collector's Edition stuff, we have the first single player story DLC that's going to be coming to this series. So you can buy the Uncharted Triple Pack, which appears to be the name of the DLC season pass for the game, and it gives you future access to the first ever single-player story add-on for the Uncharted series, and 2 multiplayer packs that will unlock new, rare, and legendary multiplayer items, which I'm not all about the item thing. I think that's something that they got wrong in the Last of Us multiplayer, was that you could buy items, especially because in The Last of Us, you could buy items that you couldn't unlock.
Right.
Just through simply playing it. So that makes me nervous a little bit. This is a game that makes sense to get some story DLC in it, and especially after the Left Behind DLC did so well for them with The Last of Us, for them to make this decision. And plus, people don't want to see the Nathan Drake storyline end.
Yeah. And
this seems to be the end of it. This will add some length to it.
A thief's end.
It is a thief's end. So, all right.
Maybe it's his dad's death.
Maybe his brother's. His brother is in the game.
Oh, maybe.
So
and then he gets really upset and he has to take revenge on Uncharted 4 or 5.
There you go. Keep the dream alive, Ben. Keep the dream alive. All right.
Uncharted 5 and Assassin's Beginning.
Next item on the list, YouTube channel Machinima has deceived customers with paid-for Xbox One videos. This is according to an article over at GameSpot. The United States government has determined that some Xbox One video materials from around the time of the system's launch in November 2013 qualified as, quote, deceptive marketing. The Federal Trade Commission announced on Wednesday that popular YouTube network Machinima, which claims to have more than 400 million unique subscribers, has agreed to settle charges related to publishing positive videos about the Xbox One without disclosing it had been paid tens of thousands of dollars to do so. Microsoft, meanwhile, is mostly absolved of wrongdoing. What were you guys' thoughts when you read this article?
Do I stand to get paid for this? I was deceived.
No, you do not.
No, I don't believe so.
What if I bought an Xbox directly as a result of watching these cool videos?
Then I don't think you would still
Buyer
have
beware.
a legal leg to stand on.
Buyer beware.
Because I don't know exactly the nature of, like, it wasn't a class action lawsuit. It was just something.
But could it be?
I mean, eventually it could be. But from this, you don't. But, okay, here we go. The FTC's complaint also outlines another phase of the paid-for Xbox One campaign. In a separate phase of the marketing program, Machinima promised to pay a larger group of influencers $1 for every 1,000 video views, up to a total of $25,000. Machinima did not require any of the influencers to disclose they were being paid for their endorsements. And so this was kind of a network operation here. But no, you don't stand to receive anything off of this ruling. Now, if there was a class action lawsuit against it,
we'll see about that.
Now,
I think we did see about that.
Now, I don't understand it completely in this article. What they're saying, that Xbox is completely like freed from any hand in this endeavor.
Right, because they gave money to Machinima, or however you say it, for endorsements, but they didn't tell them that they should do it in a sneaky, underhanded kind of way.
Okay.
Like, what Microsoft did was the legal way that you market anything. Is you pay people to say good things about your product, and then, they're supposed to say, like, all right, this video was paid for. Like, it's a question about ethics in marketing, and Machinima just didn't practice good ethics.
Because when I read this, I was like, it doesn't make any sense to me that they say that Microsoft isn't liable for some of this, but because Machinima just wouldn't go on their own rights and do it, but I guess they would. Well,
the burden of disclosure is on Machinima to do it.
Yeah,
that, like, Xbox can't go and edit their videos after they do them and put a paid for by Xbox One on the or paid for by Microsoft on the thing. So, like, it's up to Machinima to do it. Xbox is fully within their right to pay channels to say things about them. But I think it's just a big win for us as consumers, especially in a world where we just are so skeptical about material we see on the internet. Like when people look at IGN reviews and they're like, man, they paid for that review. Like, this is a warning to all these companies. Like, be wary. Make sure that you're not going to, set aside your ethics, the ethics of your company, to make a quick dollar off of being able to make a positive video or write a positive review or whatever.
And I think, I don't know, maybe the viewers themselves, or not the viewers, the YouTubers themselves, the individual YouTubers, maybe just didn't think about it. Maybe didn't think it through. Because, like, one time I left a review in exchange for a free book, but I really did think the book was awesome, but I didn't disclose that I was given a free book to leave the review. So some would consider that unethical. But I didn't think about it until I read this article.
I think that's a little different, though, because you can't... like, that's just standard practice in the book industry, in the video game industry, even in the film industry. Like, there are pre-screenings of films that people are allowed to write reviews on, because the nature of the business is that if you want to have a foothold and a voice in this sphere, like, you have to be able to get that content out as fast as possible. And so I think it's just an understood thing that, because when you read a review from IGN, it doesn't say, you know, Microsoft gave us a copy of this game. Like, you don't have to disclose that. And, you know, we haven't interacted with too many publishers, but like, we got Ori and the Blind Forest, and we got the whole pack from them, and they just said that, like, in the email, that they encouraged us to send whatever content we made back to them so that they could get a better idea of, like, what people's feelings were about the game. And obviously different publishers do different things with their stuff, but it was one of those things, like, we don't care if it's positive or negative. We just want to see that you've done something with the stuff that we've given you, that we're not just sending you a free game, that you're actually making content about it. So any other thoughts on that?
No, I don't.
Gross.
It is gross.
Simpatico Squirrel says a PR firm gave the money to Machinima. If Microsoft had done it themselves, they would have gotten into trouble. That's the beauty part about hiring a PR company. And I don't know near enough about this, but I know when all the stuff with FIFA went down, when like, we raided and arrested all those FIFA officials, there was a lot of discussion about Nike possibly going down in it, because they had worked out some sort of shady deal with FIFA, and they tried to use the defense that they had sent a third party to go mediate those discussions for them. And, you know, they were told, like, it doesn't matter. You're responsible for the people that you pay for, and if they do something that's illegal, then that's just as much on you as it is on the third party that you hired to do it. So, I'm not saying that Simpatico Squirrel is wrong. I'm just saying that I don't know. Next item on the list. Square Enix announces a release date for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, alongside a new pre-order format called Augment Your Pre-Order that could result in the game being released 4 days early. Okay. Let's try to wrap our brains around this. So, Deus Ex is coming out on February 23rd of 2016. They have a tiered pre-order system. So you pre-order the game, and then you get thrown into you get automatically put into tier 1, which is like something like a here it is. The Augment Your Pre-Order initiative starts today at Tier 1, which gives pre-order customers a choice between 3 loadouts. Tier 2 gives customers a choice between a digital art book or soundtrack sampler. Tier 3 will unlock a mission called Desperate Measures. Tier 4 gives customers a choice between a digital comic book or a novella. That's like a comic book without pictures. Most notably, perhaps, is the final tier, which, if reached, the game will release 4 days before the official release date. And the way that you reach these new tiers is not by anything that you have control over if you've already pre-ordered the game, because it fully relies on more and more people pre-ordering. So it's almost like a Kickstarter pre-order program, where if we've got X amount of backers, we'll give you these sorts of tiers of things. What is your thought? What are your thoughts on this new pre-order model?
I think it's a clever way to turn all of your pre-order customers into proselytizers for your game. They're just going to go out and try to get more and more people to pre-order. But I don't know, it just kind of feels, I think it's dumb.
It makes me wonder about the success, or, you know, about the actual numbers, about how many people have stopped pre-ordering games after the last few debacles that we've had with, like, Unity, the things we talked about time and time again on this show.
Because of us.
Because of us. Which now you've broken the bond now too, haven't you, Luke? Didn't you say you pre-ordered something?
No, I pre-ordered Madden and paid for it that night, but that was after I had played the full version of it for 8 hours.
So the point of us not pre-ordering is that we're not paying for games that may be broken.
We're not going to pay for games before we get to play them.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. But anyway,
it is a loophole. Though. You got him.
Yeah. It's an interesting tactic on Square Enix's part for sure. I don't know. It almost seems desperate though.
Yeah, I tweeted this out when I read this story that I thought this was the most innovative way to give a giant middle finger to your early adopters. Like, basically what this is saying, because the way that you can bypass all of these worries is by buying the collector's edition. And so they're like, look, you can either make your pre-order and then like you're constantly checking to see if the next tier has been unlocked, or you can just fork over the money and get the collector's edition. And the fans of your game, like, you're almost forcing their hand to do something, to either become a walking billboard for Deus Ex with all of their other gamer friends, trying to get them to pre-order it, or you're forcing their hand to just buy the collector's edition of the game to begin with. And it seems like a really hokey way of driving people to the more expensive option. Yes.
See, now
we are doing an audio podcast as well. But
I know. I'm collecting my thoughts. See, the more and more, like, I'm back and forth on this because I didn't like this at first. Like, I really didn't like this idea. I thought it was stupid. Like, I thought there was a lot of kind of dingy stuff to do with it. Like, it seemed kind of bad to me. But now, the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, I don't know that it's terrible. Like, okay, you're pre-ordering a game that right now you'll pre-order it with paying just the base rate for the pre-order, like whatever you're gonna, whatever amount you put in normally to do a pre-order, just for the base game. But if so many people pre-order it, you get the stuff that you wouldn't get normally if you paid that base amount for the game. So like you'd have to buy the special edition to get all this crazy stuff that you would get if a lot of people pre-order it. So here's what's happening. Like, the people who are buying the special edition are the ones getting screwed over because they paid $80 or however many dollars for this game that if enough people pre-order it, they're going to get the stuff for free.
Unless not enough people pre-order it.
Yeah, but even if you get to tier 1, like, you're getting more stuff than you should for paying the amount of money that you paid for the game.
That's not true because every company now is doing pre-order bonuses. Like, and you're getting far more than just one loadout. You get the choice of one of 3 loadouts in this pre-order tier. And there are other games, other publishers that it's like, if you pre-order this, you get this special mission, or you get, like something of significance. Mm-hmm. Whereas with this, you're just getting a loadout.
Yeah.
And I get your point that, like, if people buy this collector's edition, which I'm sure comes with more than just the stuff offered in these tiers, but if they're doing it simply to bypass these tiers and then the tiers are met, I guess you could rescind your pre-order of the collector's edition and just move to the regular edition of it. But still, like,
because I wonder if there'd be any compensation for that. Like, if you,
I doubt it.
It'll probably have a statue with it. That's worth some money.
The loadout that's a multiplayer thing, right? Or does it specify?
It doesn't specify.
Because stuff like that, I really dislike with pre-orders, where it's something where, like, I feel like pre-order bonuses should be an extra thing and not something that may aid you in a match against somebody else, which maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Oh, in the collector's edition, you get a 9-inch Adam Jensen figurine.
Surprise!
A 48-page Titan art book.
Surprise!
And then all the stuff that's included within the tiers. Okay. So, and that retails, holy crap, it's $150.
Yeah, so so if you're buying the collector's edition, you're getting screwed over in this scenario.
Yeah, regardless.
Right, seriously. So,
but you get a 9-inch figurine in a steel book. Or
how much is the plain pre-order? It's $60, right?
Right, it's $60.
And then you get the tiered stuff on top of that.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing: if you care anything about Deus Ex, you should be jumping for joy right now. You're gonna pay $60 for a game that if a bunch of people pre-order it, you get all this crap you don't have to pay $150 for. Like, you don't get the statue or the steel book. But you're getting, like, all this
art book,
the art book. But you get all this other stuff for just pre-ordering the game. Like, I think it's shady, but I don't hate it.
Or you have to go back and cancel your pre-order and buy that instead, or you just don't get it if not enough people pre-order.
Yeah.
But I think pre-ordering a game is risk enough in itself, to an extent. Yeah. Like you're paying money for a game you haven't played, and we've been burned on that. Not so much this year.
Yeah, it's been better.
But in years past, like pre-ordering is a risk, and now you're adding to that risk of like you can get tier 1 or you can get tier 5. But I also, and what was I listening to? They were talking about this, and they're like, "There's no way that this game is not releasing 4 days early." Well, that was one of the podcasts this week. Maybe it was Podcast Unlocked, but they were just talking about like if they even make it an option that they can have a 4-day prior release, that's the date they're going to do, and they think that they're just kind of blowing smoke up their fans' backsides.
Yeah,
but whose?
Yes. So, I don't like it at all. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's like it's more than you'd get regardless. But if I'm going to shell out money, I want to know what I'm getting without having to wait to see what I'm going to get.
Yeah. But if you just, I guess, like if you just went and bought the game, like after before pre-release, like you're just going to get the game, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I guess that's where I am with it. I interrupted you, Larry. I'm sorry.
It made me laugh when it said you could get a novella, which is like a comic without pictures. It made me laugh because I wonder if there are lots of people that just wouldn't know what a novella is.
Well, I'm sure there are. I'm positive.
Why would you take the novella over the comic book, though?
And there we go.
Seriously. I don't want to read. I just want to look at it and be able to just determine what's happening based off the pictures. I don't read comic books.
No comment.
Next item on the list, PS4's Firmware 3.0 has been sent into beta. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. But we're getting closer and closer to the final version launching within this. It's adding a ton of social functions. Some just a little list of this. Let's see. Increase in online storage capacity, live streaming gameplay directly to YouTube, a new events hub for your favorite games, a favorites group feature allowing you to quickly connect with the people you play games with most, community creation, 10-second video clip, exports to Twitter, and the long-awaited request to watch notification granting you access to a live feed of a friend's game. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but now that we kind of have less of a speculation about what it's going to be in and more of a positive about what's going to be in it, what are you guys looking forward to about this? What are you intrigued by? What's disappointing you about it?
I think it's interesting that they'll be the first console to jump into the YouTube live streaming.
Yeah.
I think that'll appeal to some people. But, yeah.
Like me. I'm very excited about that aspect, the YouTube, straight YouTube streaming. Because here's the thing, I don't know. I'm excited about it if we decide to go the route of YouTube, because that's cutting out the middleman there. It's one less thing we have to do if we're going to stream video games. We don't have to. Well, I guess we'd still stream. I don't know. I'm arguing with myself again because right now we're streaming to Twitch, and then we have to upload it to YouTube from Twitch. So it would cut out the middleman to our streams on YouTube, and possibly I don't know.
Yeah,
give us more traffic.
What's up, Mako Easy? Zephyr Baby says having betas is a cheap way not to employ play testers and send out demos. Problem just giving out a beta to the public is that you won't get an in-depth test that you would get from paid play testers. I never really thought about that. I think that's an interesting point. However, it's not like they just made this and then they said we're going to send it out to beta or Wait,
are we still talking about Battlefront?
No. We are talking about.
I know this is a beta of the.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought they were just doing.
Ben, and welcome to.
I thought they were just
44
doing the firmware update. I didn't realize it was a beta to the firmware update.
No, I think this is an interesting point that Zephyr Baby brings up. However, there's in-house testing of this stuff that's going on. I'm just speaking to his point really quickly.
Yeah, and they've got people there. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Moobot blocked this link that he sent. My computer
Interestingly
is running
enough,
crazy.
it didn't block it on mobile.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
check
funny.
it out.
Oh, cool. Anyway, so let's see. Is that all we have about the PS4? Oh, the thing I'm most interested about, I got real distracted. The thing that I'm most interested in is this favorite section. I really like the favorite section on the Xbox that I can get notifications when certain people sign on. However, it doesn't really specify what all is going to come with this. It's just a special section in my friends menu that lets me select. But the thing is I don't have 1,500 friends. So I'm friends with the people I play with, and if I don't play with you, you get knocked off my friends list. So, but if this comes with like add Ben to my favorites list, and I get a notification when he comes online.
Yeah, right.
Then I'm down, down with it.
Yeah, dog.
But it doesn't
like that,
say
dog.
that.
I like it, dog. Yeah, dog. It's rapping.
No, you're not.
All right, you have one more turn, and then we're muting your microphone. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about. But the fact that they didn't mention anything about friend notifications probably means that we're not getting it. Seriously, Ben. All right, next item on the list. Nuketown is getting updated to Nuketown 2065 in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and is available as, what do you know, a pre-order bonus.
Nuketown! That's nothing new. They did that with Black Ops 2 also.
Why don't they just kill this map off?
I hate Nuketown, and this
Nuketown.
is one more reason to not pre-order.
Why do you guys hate Nuketown?
It's
been around for it's like 5 years old.
And
Because
been-
I
and it's
prefer
been-
new things.
And it's been reiterated upon though each time. It's not the same
Exactly.
map.
Gosh,
But it's reiterated. It's not innovative. It's
Oh, so it's just a nice little touch. I mean, you don't have to have this thing. It's something for guys that like it. And if you don't like it, then whatever. It's no
I
big
don't
deal.
like it. No, I'm not gonna
I
buy
like it. I'll tell you why I like it.
Tell me.
And you will
talk
care.
to me.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but all right, copyright infringement.
Tell me why.
I like it because it's such a close quarters map. I mean, it's all action. I used to love playing sticks and stones on Black Ops 2 with like the tomahawks.
That was a lot of fun.
And the crossbows. And now I'm convincing you that Nuketown is a
No,
good
you are.
no.
There are
The
I don't know. You guys don't
frivolity of days past does not make me want to.
you guys don't even like Call of Duty in general.
Frivolity?
So I don't know.
throwing
Right,
tomahawks
you
at each
got
other
me.
and stuff.
because the problem is that this announcement of a reskinned Nuketown is indicative of everything that is wrong with that franchise. Because that's what I feel like we get every year. It's just a reskin of maybe not just Call of Duty, but they're like, hey, we'll put out Titanfall from Activision like they did last year.
I feel like this would be the easiest game to do one of those honest trailers to. Like they're just this year, Black Ops 3. Who was the main character in the first one? I just ruined it just then because I was gonna make the joke.
I can't remember the name.
Anyways, they're just talking about, and you get a new revamped Nuketown. It's really just the old Nuketown with a brand new shader. Like that's pretty much what it is. I feel like that's what it was last time.
It's futuristic this time.
It's futuristic, and it was last time too. It was like you get the '60s one back in the day, and Black Ops 1. You get the 2025 one, and whatever year this takes place in, you get another one. And I mean, it's the same map. But there are subtle changes to it, even in terms of gameplay. It's not just that every room and whatnot is exactly the same and feels exactly the same.
As soon as the countdown ends and the game begins, and I chuck a grenade across the map, am I still guaranteed 3 kills?
Probably
off of that grenade.
Probably.
Then you may be winning me over.
This is I don't know. It feels like a screw you to their consumers too. Like you love this map, but here you go. Here's what you get if you buy into Black Ops 3. You get a new Nuketown.
I mean, they did that last time too, and what they did later on is that you actually got it for free after a certain amount of time. So
that's even worse.
how is that?
The people that adopted early don't really get anything then.
Well, you get a couple weeks with it, but still, you're viewing it more as a fan service, and I'm viewing it more as like this is just a branch off of everything that I felt like's been wrong with Call of Duty as of late.
Right.
It's just like same thing all the time. Like, and you know what happens is we say we're doing Nuketown, and all of the people like just start bowing down to Activision. Oh, Nuketown is so great. So great! I'm going to pre-order 12 copies
so
I can play on 12 different.
I've never seen anybody
Nuketowns.
bow down, but it's the same thing. Like I pre-order.
You've never seen people bow down to Activision. They sell like 48 million copies of this game every year.
Well, I mean,
they bow down with their wallets.
okay, that makes more sense. But I mean, everybody does this. So, like we talked about earlier, like I don't. It's at the point where. Almost like if you can't beat them, join them. I don't really care about half of the pre-order bonuses out there right now, like we were talking about Uncharted outfits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, there's going to be something that's gonna attract your eye, and either you get it or you don't. I mean, That's all there is to it. It either appeals to you or it doesn't. You can still pre-order the game even if you don't care about the pre-order bonuses. It's just a matter of getting the game.
Right.
Just buy the game.
Yeah.
For me,
Or don't, because you hate the game too.
You're right, right. Exactly. So I don't even know why you're participating in the conversation. I don't know why any of you are participating.
no, I like Call of Duty.
Sometimes.
I do. I'm a Call of Duty-ish person.
I thought he played quite a bit of Advanced Warfare with you.
I played like a month and then I traded it back
Not
in.
even like a week.
It may have been that.
It's more than he plays.
Nobody got on though.
Dying
I
Light
played
with
it
me.
and nobody ever got on with me. Here's the thing that I would love if they did this with Nuketown, and then I'll shut up. Like if they sent this map out and you went to go play it, and no matter what game mode you went into, you started the game, and then 2 seconds later they dropped a nuke and killed everybody. The game was over, and you can never go in there and play it. Just always kill everybody. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great. Then I would love Activision if they did that. I would buy all their games.
You're a
Do it,
strange
Activision.
man, Benjamin.
I'll purchase them all.
Next item on the list. Destiny, the Taken King's Raid will release on September 18th, and they will offer a preview of the Crucible starting September the 8th. Guys, this is all you.
All right, so this Crucible thing that you're talking about is what they're going to be doing is kind of allowing everyone before the release of the Taken King to kind of test out the new game modes like Rift, kind of capture the flag game mode where you can do the little cool backflip touchdowns.
Gosh, and then Chaos.
And Chaos, which you're not going to have the new supers in this, they announced, yet. But when the Taken King comes out, you will be able to use those in that game mode. So it's kind of getting you used to all these things. You're going to be able to access the maps early and kind of play with those. But when the Taken King comes out, of course, if you don't buy the Taken King, you will no longer have access to those maps until the next expansion comes out. Then they'll probably give them to you for free again. Larry, I think you had a jab in here about our conversation a couple weeks ago where you...
It's not a jab, I'm just clarifying.
You inserted a quote that says your character level will be grandfathered into your highest possible light level from all gear in your inventory and vault. Now, what I say to you?
I don't know.
Conspiracy.
Oh my
Welcome to
gosh.
Conspiracy 3 Podcast. They say all of your gear in the vault and your inventory. So, like, how do we know that that's not an average system, man?
Because it says highest possible.
Yeah.
But from all your gear.
Right, so...
All
Yes,
your
so you look
gear.
at all of it, and the highest ones are selected.
I don't know, man. I've got trust issues. But I really do agree. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99.9% sure that that's exactly what it's going to be. That you will have your current level, but.
Oh my god!
I'm nervous.
Here's another speculation. Let's get another speculation.
Yeah,
out there,
talk to me.
I'm about to do that. Let's say you got a level 33 Titan, because that's what I have currently, and I have 2 34s and a level 33 Titan. Let's say I have that, and I have Etheric Light to upgrade one of my legendary pieces that'll make me a 34 Titan. Will they count my Etheric Light in the average that says if he uses this Etheric Light on that legendary item, then he'll be a 34? Like,
I doubt
Why wouldn't you just use the Etheric Light to do that?
The better option is like if I've got all legendary stuff and I have an exotic shard, I can't use it until I upgrade that armor. But I've got an exotic shard to upgrade if I had the ability. Would they look at that? That's just all like it's all I don't even know what the word I'm trying to use is. Not conspiracy, but it's all just
conjecture.
Wondering. I'm all wondering.
I don't think they will. It would surprise me if they did.
Because I think that what they're doing is that you can cash those in now since they'll be irrelevant past a certain point, and you'll be able to cash them in for legendary marks and things like that.
Did you guys hear about the bounties your bounty slots getting opened up then too?
You'll get 5 or 6 more bounty slots, and they're gonna
You're
take
gonna have a total of
away
15.
whatever normal bounties that are in progress. Those are gonna be removed.
Yeah, nothing that's done.
But your exotic bounties, no matter whether they're done or not, they will be finished for you.
Auto-completed.
Auto-completed.
So, jokes on all of you who actually took time to do your exotic bounties.
No,
I'm sitting
I mean, it's not even
to get
that.
a bunch of free weapons.
How many do you have?
But how?
Two.
But how?
I never
effective-
get bounties. It makes me so
I am-
mad.
I
It's one of those
40
things.
kills.
They won't be that
I was about to-
effective
that's what I was
anymore
gonna
unless
say.
you have unless you're just getting the game and kind of leveling up that way. But we don't know still which ones exactly are going to be upgradable to the year 2 max. Like we know Soros Regime. We know
Bad Juju.
I think. Oh yeah, Bad Juju. They said Bad Juju, right?
What about my universal remote?
I
We don't
don't know.
know.
Maybe.
We don't
I think what's the scout rifle? I think that one is too.
Look, if I don't have that
Mida.
universal remote,
Midas
I'm
touch.
not good at this game, so I'm going to need it to carry over.
Right.
Okay, I would first of all just like to point out how much you crapped all over Larry's opportunity to do his "I was right" dance.
Yeah, you straight jacked my quote.
You're right.
That's in red. That means this is Larry's
Yeah,
part.
you-
No, I proved that wrong to you earlier. I can type in red just as easily as you can type in red.
Oh my goodness.
You'd broke the
Hey, to
galactic
be
law
honest, though,
of the
I'm,
show notes.
I'm going to go in there and input a very custom color code. You will have to figure it out on your own.
His to be fair, only like the very first part of your quote was in red. The rest of it was black.
Yes, you're right.
But he
You
knew
can't
it was
claim
yours.
you can't claim black for yourself, you stupid idiot. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I take it all back.
We were wrong,
No,
Larry.
no,
you
black
were right.
belongs to the show notes. See,
You were correct, Larry. We
Black
were wrong.
letters matter.
They do.
I concede to your rightness.
Thank you.
I am in concession at the moment.
It's rare that I am in a position to have this.
But back to those exotics. I think what's another one?
Crapping on my mold again.
I'm full of crap.
Yes,
Me
yes.
too.
you are.
No backup plans. I think like the Titan shoulders were mentioned. They're going to be upgradable.
The ACD feedbacks, whatever they are, AOCD.
COPD.
No, is it COPD?
That's
No,
a
it's
that's
not.
a chronic lung condition.
That's what killed my grandfather. No
It's
joke.
it's ACE feedbacks, I think. Whatever, the ones that like breathe and they have like the stuff running through them
for what character?
for the Titan.
Okay.
They're the new one. They're the new Hasselhoff ones.
Oh, with the
Anyways,
plates, like the big.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got those.
I think
got
they
those.
are. I think
Okay.
they are getting upgraded also.
But anyway, again, like back to the original point. Some of those weapons will be rendered irrelevant, and that's why they're giving them to you for free, like Thorn, things like that, for that exhaustive Thorn.
Galley.
bounty.
Thank God that's going to be rendered irrelevant.
Galley is
No,
not
I mean,
going
of course,
up,
there are going to be new power weapons to use.
and they're gonna dude. I saw somewhere, and I don't know where the quote was, but I know that it's a real thing. I'm not just pulling it out of my butt. I promise.
Uh-huh.
They said that the new weapons that they're bringing into this, like from commons up through whatever, are doubling the weapons that were in year one Destiny. So you're gonna have, not only we're gonna have better guns in the year two, but we're gonna have more like to pick up and find and do. So I think that's something to look for. Even though we're losing a lot of stuff that we've kind of grown fond of, like your Fate Bringers and all that's gonna be useless. You're not gonna most of your elemental primaries that you got from the vault or got from Crota are gonna be kind of fodder for Motes of Light, but.
And that's just the nature of warfare.
Mhm.
I mean, if we drop soldiers in Iraq with muskets, it's not going to go well.
Right. Let's back up for a second because there's a point
I'm rendered uncomfortable.
let's back up for a second because there's a point I really wanted to make about the multiplayer maps that really I'm super excited for.
Talk to me.
I was really pumped about the Rift map, but I think the most excited I am is for that Chaos map, and I really wish that Luke was getting this game with us. You're getting this expansion with us because I feel like he would love Chaos. Like I feel like that would be a game.
No. He's gonna hate chaos. I guarantee it.
no, I've seen the concept of chaos and I hate it.
You really do?
No, it's
Yeah.
It's called mayhem, isn't it?
Or mayhem maybe.
Oh, I
that's
thought it was
the insurance
chaos.
thing.
Either one. It's one of those. But yeah, you're gonna hate that. I know. I'm really intrigued by it, and I'm gonna play it, but I'm also going to hate it. It's gonna be one of those things that I have to kind of dip into every once in a while.
The thing about it though is you cannot take it seriously going into that game. I feel like you guys don't like it because you're like, oh, this is gonna be dumb. You can't get any kills. You're gonna die all the time. But the point of it is, like, you go in there and you just have a super, and you can just you don't have to worry about when you use your
no,
bomb.
I understand it, but you know, it's you get in there, and it's really frustrating to die every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Wait, so the idea is everyone has supers all the time?
No,
Pretty
they
like,
regenerate a lot
every
faster.
charge is like. So
lot
you
faster.
might have maybe
It sounds horrible.
30 seconds to a minute between supers, something like
It
that.
sounds horrible because the supers aren't balanced. Like, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, there are support supers and there are offensive supers.
I doubt
very offensive
people are
supers.
going to be using
Black Lives Matter.
So like if you're, a hunter in the new expansion, and you probably wouldn't want to use your bow thing. That's like the new void bow, where you kind of tether people to the ground. I mean, it could be useful.
Well, it still harms people though.
Huh?
I think it still harms people.
A little bit, but I mean, it's more so like just kind of to help
What's
other
that?
people
It's your
attack
wife.
easier.
I mean,
That is
your
that is
wife. I don't know why I said
that
your
is the
wife.
ghost of Christmas past from the future.
Continue.
I think I'm done.
But see, I wouldn't go into this game, but this would be like I'm really frustrated, like I'm really irritated with PoE or PvE, or I'm really frustrated with like dying a lot in the Crucible. So let me hop in this game real quick and just let off some steam, like just start blowing stuff up with my Nova Bomb and stuff, like cause a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
It's just one of those things where you're if you have that competitive nature in games like that, like I do.
yeah. I feel you.
It's frustrating.
I feel you, dog. It's cool. Also, this is a point we kind of glazed over a little bit. The bounty system, how we're going to have more bounty slots. That means that if you are prepping for the transition over to Taken King, as far as like getting your bounties filled up to have a bunch of XP to turn in day one, you've got that much more experience slots to build up to where you can. Hopefully get that. I'm trying to get a level 40 Night of. So, yeah.
Well, look at you. Look at you. What's up, Sugar the Pup? Moving on. That was everything we had for the news, guys. Good job. All right, moving on to our reviews. We have reviews for you.
We got reviews
for you, and we're giving the reviews on the.
That sounds like Beastie Boys rap. I like it.
I am the Beastie Boy.
All right. Larry, Seth, Luke.
And
Talk
Ben.
to me.
Well, you saw like 12 minutes of this. You can provide some
Can I
thought.
review
You
Pokemon
have
Shuffle? I'll have color
Been
commentary.
rendered irrelevant.
Color commentary.
Irrelevant.
This came to.
No, we're not talking
mobile
about whatever
devices.
you're.
What is this Waze you have?
Waze?
It's
my
a GPS app.
Oh, okay.
It's a social GPS
I couldn't
app.
see it. I thought it said Waza. and I
You
was
should
like,
join it,
that's a
and
cool
we'll be
word.
friends. Because you know what it does? It tells you like where police are and stuff.
Yep.
Yep. All right, here we go. We got a chance to play Until Dawn. Let's talk about Until Dawn. Larry, what do you think about Until Dawn?
I love it.
That's
my line!
Love it.
That is my line!
How do you like it?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, yeah, sorry. I yelled in the mic. I'm sorry. I killed you.
Oh my
I killed
gosh!
your
You
ears.
just killed everybody.
I'm so
Larry.
sorry. Can you mute me? Is it too late?
It is. I heard that over here, Larry.
Can we go back and censor that?
Larry.
I got caught up in the moment.
Oh,
Just
we are
ruined the
so sorry, you guys.
podcast.
We are so sorry. Larry is suspended indefinitely. Seth, what do you think?
I'm going to get that suspension overturned in court.
I love Until Dawn.
Nothing holds up here.
This game is so much fun. It's unreal. And there's endless possibility. I don't even know where to begin. It's got so many 80s, 90s horror movie tropes. It's got a little bit of that cabin in the woods feel to it.
Yeah.
Like we got to that point really today a little bit with the big twists we experienced.
This is a spoiler-free review.
Yes, it is.
Until Dawn.
I'll go no further than that, but it's a little meta. I dig it. I'm really glad I didn't buy it alone, like to play in my room by myself late at night.
Because you wouldn't.
I wouldn't survive until dawn.
Is it really that scary?
It can be, yeah. I mean, Larry and I
It
were
gave me
terrified
nightmares.
when we left. Like we had to leave. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna head out. I need to drive home. I've got an hour drive. It's late and it's dark outside." And I was like, "I'm gonna walk with you."
And I had
because
to,
I will not walk to my car alone this evening. And we got outside, and I immediately walked through a giant spider web, and there was this big old brown spider right near my head. And he managed to get onto Lauren's car.
I'm sorry.
I think it achieves its horror through two different things. Number one, it's shotgun horror. You know, like it's not rifle horror. They kind of add elements of everything to scare you. So like, I was like, there are supernatural things like where you see images of people in the background who aren't supposed to be there, and like that stuff is really terrifying to me. Whereas like the gore parts, they don't terrify me at all because like that's not just. I've never really been scared of the Saw movies or anything like that. I more cringe through those because you know they're just gory and hyper violent.
there's things looking through your windows,
Yeah.
observing you.
So there's always a moment for everybody watching it to point back to and say, that's what scared me. And the thing that scared you probably isn't the same thing that scared me about it. So that's the first thing, that whole shotgun approach to horror. And then the second thing is it's so tropey in terms of the story and the characters and all of that sort of stuff that the parts that are really scary kind of stand in stark contrast to how it just really doesn't take itself that seriously in other portions of the game, and so it magnifies it. And I think that's why it was so scary to me, at least.
I would also argue that part of the horror and of the whole experience in and of itself is the fact that every decision, no matter how small, really affects the game, and you don't really know how until you know. So it's like, well, I see us. I'm shooting. This is not really a spoiler, but it's an example within the game. It has no real plot relevance, or does it? So we're at the very beginning of the game. Remember we're shooting that little rifle or whatever it was. I think it was a rifle. Shooting at cans and bottles, whatever. It's kind of tutoring you on how to use the kind of motion sensor, whatever aiming system that the game has, especially for quick time events. And so you're shooting at the cans and stuff, and all of a sudden a sweet little squirrel kind of scampers onto a table, and you have the option to shoot the squirrel or to do nothing. And like the lesson is that sometimes it's better to do nothing, but you don't know until, of course, you know.
That's a lesson.
And, of course, I shoot the squirrel. Of course, we've killed a lot of animals in this game so far.
Yeah.
Like you guys, I wasn't here, but you guys took an axe to a moose earlier, right?
that did happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were consequences.
And there were consequences, which we won't divulge here. But that's the thing about the game is like it's really there's a surprising amount of pressure in the decision making, and it doesn't make the game real, but it makes the game that much more realistic. And that even though you have some amount of time between making decisions, and in order to make the decision, you really got to weigh it. And there's not enough time in 30 seconds or whatever you have or less to get a pen and paper out and write down pros and cons. You got to kind of work with the moment.
I've never seen a game like there are games where your choices matter, but I've never seen a game where your choices matter quite like this game. It's so much bigger than anything else I've ever encountered, and that's what really makes this game great for me, is that butterfly effect thing.
And that's the great thing about where this is a next gen game. The system has the memory to kind of take that Shadow of Mordor thing. It's just this massive project kind of condensed into this 10-hour game. It's great.
And you're absolutely right that it adds to the terror, because when every choice matters, every choice weighs heavier on you. It's not like, oh, whatever. It'll, like, even coming down to sometimes you're running through the woods, and am I going to move quick or am I going to move cautiously? That's an option you have to weigh a lot of the time.
Or like take the shortcut or take the safe route or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like a lot of people may look at it and try to compare it to a Telltale game, but Telltale games kind of give you the illusion of choice, and it all kind of bottlenecks at the same conclusion. Whereas with this game, everything really does have a huge effect on the story, even like the little things. As far as like we saw a part where a decision really early on with the squirrel, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but it came back and affected one of the storylines, like in Chapter 7 of the game. We're hours into it at that point.
As somebody who didn't play the game that much, maybe like 45 minutes or an hour of it, do you really think like and what I just called earlier, I'm not going to divulge anything obviously, but do you think the choices that you make would actually change stuff that drastically, that point of the story that I saw earlier? I think I know what you're talking about, and I don't want to right.
Yeah,
but
I know what you're talking about.
I'll talk to you after about it.
The main points of the story I think are going to be there, but the fact that I can play this game in such a way that nobody dies, or I can play this game in such a way that everybody dies, and then any option in between, the decisions make a huge impact. Maybe not on the overall narrative, but definitely on the lives of the characters that are in it.
An interesting thing tied to this butterfly effect, where the totems, you can find these totems and they give you just a couple of second glimpse of a future event that may help you in what decision you ought to make. And so we made a decision based off of the clothing that a character was wearing in one of these future clips, and wound up, we aren't sure yet, but I think that we changed that character's fate by the choice we made. Luke and I are in disagreement there. He thinks that character may be gone at this point. I think that character lives on.
Yeah.
But even if that character is gone, we changed the manner in which that character was eliminated.
So really quickly, Seth, since you have watched it and you're good with words,
Sometimes.
if somebody was like, I've never heard of Until Dawn, what is Until Dawn? Just give them a brief little overview of it.
Until Dawn is an homage to everything we love about campy classic horror films. It's Friday the 13th. It's Halloween. It's a combination of supernatural and stalker films. It's just this kind of I don't want not a magnum opus, but it's this great classic love story from what is it? Love letter. Well, love story, love letter from what is it? Supermassive that developed this from Supermassive to us, the people that love horror movies. And I think that's why, especially Larry and I know Luke loves this game. It's everything that you can want as a horror fan. Again, the game can be whatever you want it to be based upon the decisions that you make.
I want to get it just based off of the short amount of time I've seen it, played it, and seen it played.
And that's one thing too. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
To be like taking place almost exclusively at night. The motion capture, all these 30-year-old actors that are playing 17-year-old kids, they all just look glorious. And I don't mean that in a physical way.
I don't get what you're saying.
I
I don't know. You spent a lot of time admiring the butt animation.
That is true.
Oh, yeah, last week. I forgot about that. And Hayden Panettiere did spend a lot of time in the tub.
And in a towel.
And in a towel. Post-tub.
Yeah.
But again, buy this game. Buy it right away. Buy it new.
Buy it right away.
Buy it.
Choppers do
Buy it now. And this is a game that you're going to want to play over and over again if you own it. I was reading a really cool article. It might have been on Kotaku. It might have been on Forbes. I can't remember which one. But it was kind of talking about how this game was a really great example of, I don't remember the phrase exactly, but temporal... these kind of temporal, no, temporal physics. Because what you do when you finish the game, supposedly, is that you don't act you can go back and start a whole new game. But what you can do if you want to is, in order to go get the trophies, you can kind of go chapter by chapter, go back to a certain chapter, make a certain decision, and that will affect the entire rest of the game. And so you can unlock trophies that way by just going back and changing certain little things here and there.
So
it's fascinating. This is one of the most experimental and just absolutely phenomenal games I've played in a long, long time, and it's only 10 hours long.
So in the chat, Diz made this joke, Ashton Kutcher DLC. But really, It is like that. You get to the end, you can go back in your memories and see how it's...
Yeah, exactly. But you don't know what you're going to change in the meantime, unless you do a walkthrough.
A couple of things I want to hit on before we wrap the review up. Back to what makes this game scary. Something that usually doesn't affect me very much, but affects me really heavily in this game is the jump scares. They were done incredibly well. There was one today, I was in the middle of telling a story to the people watching our stream, and I lost it. I freaked out. It scared the crap out of me. So that was really cool.
Is that stream going to be archived?
Yeah,
Okay.
We'll put that one on YouTube.
Something we haven't talked about yet, but I think you and I are in agreement here. I don't know how you guys feel. There were not a lot of likable characters in the game.
Yeah.
And that's another horror trope.
Yeah, well, that's true. But when your game is so heavily based on decision making, you kind of have to enter the game with a goal in mind to really care about the characters to keep them alive, because they're not doing anything on their own accord for you to be like, man, I really want to save them, because you're picking between a turd and a giant douche a lot of times in terms of in terms of dialogue choices and all that sort of stuff.
Is that an expression? And can you say that online?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
Rocking a hard place.
there were a couple times where we had dialogue decisions to make, and it was like neither one of these is something good, and it just kind of plays into that hand of these are not likable people.
Yeah.
And the game doesn't do anything to try to make them likable.
As it got on, some of them grew more likable. But most of them, I'm still like, they can live or die. I don't care.
And you can make them more likable to an extent, depending on the decisions that you make.
Yeah, you even change their personalities. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I think it would be really interesting to go through, and specifically, go from beginning to end of the game and try to go by the rules of horror according to Scream or something like that, and try to make everyone as sexually non-existent as possible. Like sexually inactive.
We
I guess
tried
you
to
should say.
do that.
Oh yeah, you try sometimes, but women are weird because what was it? We were playing last week, and you're in that one situation, and it's like
Yeah.
I should be really mean to this girl.
We tried to
And-
sabotage that relationship, but
exactly,
she was dead
and it
set.
backfired.
Yeah.
And then, of course, something scary happens, and she thinks that it's someone else, and you're like, "What is she doing?" She's like, "I am gonna have sex with this guy right here. It is gonna be wild." And do you remember?
Yeah, she walks out on the porch and thinks her friends are pranking her
Yeah.
and yells,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sound like Alvin on the.
It would be neat to go through and like mess. I wonder how their attributes, like you can affect their bravery. I wonder if you made them all cowards, if it would affect even the decisions you have to make.
Yeah.
If your decisions affect your decisions,
There's-
Inception.
There's one character, like charitable is one of the options, and one character is particularly not charitable. Like, I would like to kill her, given the opportunity. So it's interesting. It's a really
Decisionception.
neat game. I've never played anything like it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna get it as soon as I'm financially able, so I can play it.
I imagine this is a game that will be on sale pretty quickly, just because they'll try to combat the fact that there's going to be multitudes of used copies of this game.
Yeah,
on
man,
the
there
shelf.
already are. That's like $50 for a used copy if you have your pro membership. So
Yeah.
it'll be down soon.
Review in a word?
Passion, and I mean that in the best of ways. Like, this is a game that really shows, like we said earlier, like the passion that people have for horror movies, and video games. And this is this great amalgam of both.
Amalgam.
Yes, yes,
That's a good word.
I love it. I love this game.
Larry?
Bye.
Chaos. Going back to the whole chaos theory thing. Like, I am so impressed with the power and the ability that you have to affect the outcome of this game with your decisions. And, yeah, so I love it.
Oh. Diz put my word in the chat, which is homage. Yeah. Yeah, because it really is. It's an homage to horror, like you were saying. It's everything. It's got everything that horror fans love about horror. At least really fun horror.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I imagine the story's getting a little deeper than we think it is.
Oh yeah.
Because we haven't quite beat it yet. I think we have about 2 hours left of it. But yeah, homage is my word.
Can I have a word?
Yeah.
Nutshell.
Nutshell.
Is that one word?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because like let's be honest. This game is probably a 40, 50 hour game compacted into a 10-hour experience because the decisions that you have to make that change the flow of what's going to happen. So you're playing 10 hours, but you have the ability to have like fluid new content for more than that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I'm real impressed with us and the decisions we made, because when you make a decision that has a big change, like it has this flutter of butterflies that kind of gives you a warning of what kind of change you've made, and all but one of our decisions have been a good change.
Yeah.
So we're awesome.
Essentially.
Thank you.
I may have accidentally killed someone earlier because I couldn't aim very well,
All right.
but our decisions were on point.
Yeah. All right, Seth.
Talk to me.
Do you want to talk about this week, or do you want to wait for me to play it a little bit, and then we can talk about it together?
I like that face.
Let's talk about it a little bit now.
Okay, let's talk about it a little bit now. We'll come back and have a big
we'll come
discussion
back and
about
touch
it
it
next
up.
week.
I
So,
absolutely.
Hold on. Let me
Okay.
tell them what the game is.
Okay.
You got to play a little game called Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. What did you think about it?
Wait, talk to me. No,
we already
you
did
talk.
that.
We kind of
Oh.
did that. We
And
kind
now
of
you've
did that.
interrupted it.
I'm
I
sorry.
absolutely love this game. I don't even know where to begin. For those that are mad that Ground Zeroes was like 2 hours long, be rectified. The prologue of this game is like one long interactive cutscene almost, and it takes like an hour and a half. And it's just all great, even when you're laying in a hospital bed. No spoilers. And from there, it goes on. The open world is just this glorious. It's one of the prettiest open worlds I've ever seen, even though it's just like the deserts of Afghanistan so far, and then you get a little bit of like a rainy African jungle environment later on.
God bless the rains down in Africa.
God bless the rains down. It's kind of hard to know where, again, like we talked about with Until Dawn, where to begin because there's so many good things about this game. I'll start with my negative, and other people from other more famous podcasts have touched on this already. It almost plays like, I want to say almost similar to Peace Walker in that each mission is like a chapter that you do individually almost. And you can do them like within the world. Like you can finish up a mission and not go back to like your helicopter or back to your base. And then like kind of explore the world a little bit. And when you're ready for a mission, like a little beacon will come down, touch down. And you have to go to that and get the intel for your next mission. But after each individual thing, you have to go through like a set of credits, and it's almost like a jab from Kojima, where it's just like you get the Kojima logos, the Fox Engine logo, directed, written, yada 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 by Hideo Kojima, and then it has like the characters' names that were in there and whatnot. But not even like Kiefer Sutherland's name and the voice actors. It's like the characters from in the game that actually take part in the chapter. But this is. There was some concern about whether cutscenes were going to be, a big part of this game because they're so historically a part of the Metal Gear franchise, like hour and a half long cutscenes. There are plenty of cutscenes in this, and you never know when they're going to pop up. Whether it's going to be like some random mission that you do, some random side op that you do post mission, and there are things like you have to actually really pay attention to what's going on in the world. I'll give you an example. Everybody knows about this Diamond Dog character we talked about a little bit earlier. Before the podcast, where it's one of your buddies that you take into the mission. It's like a dog that eventually will become your attack dog, and it'll kind of like sense animals and soldiers, like enemy soldiers around you, kind of point them out for you, and you can use it to distract people, things like that. You can even get it a little cute sneaking suit.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it is. The only thing not adorable about the dog is that it's missing an eye, and it has a matching eye patch with you.
That's really insensitive of you. One-eyed people can't be adorable.
You're right. One-eyed dogs can, but one-eyed people can.
Okay.
But what you will miss this dog if you don't pay attention to like your intel coming in, like because you have like maybe a 3-4 mission window unless you want to go back and do it, where one of your intel providers is like, I didn't even hear the dog barking, and this guy's like, you need to talk to this. Like you can't be playing around with this dog. Like you don't have time. You need to get back on mission. And I was like, dog. There's supposed to be a dog in the game. Maybe this is the dog. And so I attach a little balloon to it. This little puppy floats up into the air, and then it launches off back to my base and goes, "Arr!" And my buddies raised that dog and turned it into a killer attack dog, and that guy is awesome. But it's just those things. You have so much choice in this game, and you can miss things. You can have to like search things out. And then, of course, one of the greatest things about the game has been touched on by the guys at like Beyond and all of those major podcasts is you have so many choices. You kind of just get dropped off by a helicopter. You have maybe 2 objectives, and the rest is all up to you as to how you do them. It's not gonna hold your hand. It's not gonna tell you go do this, then do that, then do this. It's gonna say like you need to sabotage this engine and eliminate this person. And what it doesn't really tell you is that maybe you don't necessarily have to eliminate this person, like kill them. Maybe you can take this like Russian commander and Fulton recover him back to your base, and he'll become one of your best soldiers, and like help you develop materials and weapons and stuff like that. And I mean, it's just there's so many possibilities, and the fact that there are certain objectives that you have to do in order to just complete the mission, but there are also more objectives that you unlock later on to go back and kind of add replayability to the game and try to get things perfect with your S rank or whatever. And once again, the story is just astronomical so far. I might be coming up on halfway through the main story. It's hard to tell. I had my first boss fight against a woman sniper, and I just kind of stumbled upon it. I was doing a random side op. It was an important side op. I was trying to find a very special character to the franchise, or the father of a very special character, mind you. And all of a sudden, I see almost like in Destiny, the little shine that you see when there's a sniper facing you. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, my intel guy's like, "Look out!" and I barely miss a shot, and all of a sudden I'm in the middle of a boss battle, and I can choose to run away from it, I can choose to stay there, and then eventually I can choose to, when I beat that person, I could choose to kill them or to take them back with me, and a lot of crazy stuff happens from there. But like we said with Until Dawn, buy this game. Buy it.
New.
Buy it right now. Buy it new. Don't buy it used. Just don't mind when the Konami servers suck, but you can't really play with the online multiplayer very much. That's acceptable. The single players, I don't even care about the multiplayer really. It'll be nice to mess around with when the time comes, but the single player is just on point.
What's that you say? Your wife is crowning?
It's
no bother. Go buy this game.
Back to the crowning.
Wow. All right. Anyway, moving on. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We'll talk about it more next week because I'm excited about jumping into to play it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So now we move on to everybody's favorite segment, the random question of the week.
Random question of the week for the month for this week. Yeah.
That was bad.
It's really flat.
Yeah. All right. We will move on to our regular random question after we hit up Simpatico Squirrel, who gave us $5 tip. You can do that. You can do that as well at our tip jar. It's in the links below.
Simpatico, thank you. That's very generous of you.
He asks, "How do you approach a girl in a public setting?" First of all, let me say this.
What?
That should probably be the only place that you approach a female that you are asking this question about, because if you're approaching her in, say, her room or, I don't know, her place of work, then you're probably going to creep her out. So you're already on the right trajectory going towards a public setting. All right? Seth, you're the only single one among us, not married, forever alone. I'm just kidding. Forever alone.
Does that imply he's the most or the least qualified to answer this question?
That's true. But how should you approach
Too soon.
Too soon. What?
How should you approach a girl in public, Seth?
Too soon after what?
After the statement.
Okay.
I don't know. Who cares?
How should you approach a girl in public?
If you're Seth, her parents will just offer her to you.
This is true. I don't have to do any work at all, really.
Just throw them at you.
Except for the work that I do at my job, and that's
right.
of course why they throw their daughters at me. I don't know. I mean, you should if you're looking at the serious angle of it, I mean, you should just be confident. You should be funny, but not too funny. You don't want to be like hey, you like baby. Hey,
don't say baby immediately.
no. Like, all right.
Strike one.
All right. This is the funny thing. This is like don't be like, hey girl, you wanna see something like not too many people know about, and then do like the armpit thing with your with your
That's how I'm married. That's how I got
pit.
my wife.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I can't do that thing.
You can't do the fart pit?
No.
Okay. Well, like, don't do that. Be charming, be funny. It takes like practice with yourself in the mirror a little bit at home. But I don't know. The thing is, be yourself. Don't put too much thought into it. If you're being yourself, it's not going to work out for you.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but Simpatico Squirrel says, we don't need advice from the single guy. The married guys would know best. All right, Larry.
Okay.
Ben.
Can I interject just a second? Let me just talk about the point that Seth just go. Don't be yourself, because you're a squirrel.
That's true.
You're
a squirrel.
Lady wants to talk to a squirrel, so don't just be a human first. Okay, then Larry can start, and then I'll.
But be simpatico.
Yes, simpatico.
All right, Larry.
I don't know. Just ask her out, dude. Just man up and ask her. If she shoots you down, whatever.
I don't know about that, because like you can't just be like, "Hey, baby, you want to go on a date?"
There is a middle ground here, Seth. And maybe the issue is that you're not seeing it.
Hey, baby.
You're like, either I have to stay completely away from women, or I have to be completely in their face. Had a guy that we went to school with. I'm not going to say his name. comes into my room. I'm rooming with a guy named Jacob Savage. He comes into our room and he is so downtrodden. And he's like, and we're like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he's like, "I got called a creeper." And we're like, "What?" He's like, "Am I a creeper?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you are, but I didn't say that." So he he's like, so-and-so called me a creeper. And we're like, okay, how'd this conversation go? And he was like, I just went up and I was like, yo, girl, my name is whatever. What's your name? And then she said, I'm so-and-so. And he said, man, you're hot. And then she called him a creeper. And so my roommate is like, so what was the context of this conversation? And I said, she was in the shower. And that was problem number one. It was in the cafeteria. She wasn't actually in the shower.
But he was naked.
I was like, I've forgotten this side of the story.
But he thought he was in the shower.
No, but yeah. So there is a middle ground. There is a confidence level that is required in approaching women.
You should strike up a conversation first, though. You're right. You don't just walk up, hey, you've never met me before. You want to go on a date?
Just want to make a joke right now. I don't know if I should, though.
I don't know if you should. If you don't know if you should.
Okay.
The weirdest thing I've heard from people say like people are so worried about like the friend zone thing, but I would tend to argue like friendship is a good basis for relationship. Like me and my wife were friends in high school, and like we didn't date in high school or anything, but like that friendship was a good basis.
The best way to do it is to become friends with them and then just hold on so long that they begin to realize they don't have any other options.
Right. I'll give you a story of how me and my wife started dating and then eventually got married, if it helps you at all. We had a little basketball league that we were doing, like a summer basketball league we started up with a couple of my friends. And her brother-in-law was actually played basketball, and I needed someone to join our team because we lost a person. So I said, hey, does he play? What do you want to play basketball? You know, whatever. So I got her number from one of my friends to ask about like her brother playing basketball, and we talked about that for like a week, and then after that we talked about like other things, like we just
things
about like life and like how she'd been.
Be careful in that realm as well.
Yeah, don't talk about things a lot, especially yours.
Oh my gosh.
I got two. I walk up to a girl like, I got 2 words for you, baby. Actually, not.
No.
But
moving on.
But
Next
like,
question.
it's all about
10,
like,
and then a measurement.
it's all about it's all about like just let them know who you are. And find out who they are. Like don't rush into the situation. Like just find out if you even want to be with that person before you just look at what they look like and stuff. You know.
Yeah, strike up a conversation.
Funny comment and a good comment. One of the best pieces of advice I've ever received is from Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi film.
Yes,
Spider-Man 2.
yes.
Funny or like serious?
This is funny.
Okay.
What is it? The old foreign guy is like, telling Peter Parker you should go up to the girl and be like, "You are a good woman. I am good man." And that's the end of the advice. He's just like, you should. That's all you should do. Like, nut up or shut up.
I don't think you can.
That's poor choice of words.
Whatever. And then the real one is like some of the best experiences I've ever had are like just again like not really going in with that aspect of it in mind. Like if you're maybe like go out with a girl as friends and like just show her a good time. Like buy her dinner just for no other like not with anything else in mind. No love games. Just buy the girl dinner, like take her to like something that your friends are having, like if maybe they're having the dinner or like a little get together, something like that, something low key, but something fun. What's up?
Are you trying to tell us you're bringing your lady friend to the cookout tonight?
I don't have a lady friend, but
You could.
He could if he had, if he wanted to.
well, it's but
You wouldn't bring one to the cookout. We embarrass you.
I could, but there are too many.
We understand.
Too many ladies.
There are too many wives and stuff there, and that's and
you don't want to cast that aspersions on the party. I understand.
I see.
No. I wasn't even thinking about that. But what I'm saying is like because this is something that I've done is and like that can really allow you to like get to know someone, and of course if you're not going at it from a manipulative angle, then that's good. That person can kind of see you again like at your true form, and then whether something happens or not, you're good to go. You're a straight up genuine dude.
All I can think of is this isn't even my final four. Sorry.
You're really holding back, man. It was
All of that is really good, though. No, you're right. Like, if you're being dishonest and manipulative, sooner or later, they're going to figure that out.
Oh,
so.
yeah, exactly.
They're going to figure out
So
that you're
don't be a
squirrel.
manipulative creep. And I like your thing of hang out somewhere as friends. Something that our generation has kind of lost is the date. Like, we kind of want to jump straight into a relationship or something more, but just take time to get to know the person, because if you don't have anything in common, it doesn't matter how hot she is, it's just going to be aggravating later on. And if she's crazy, you just want to get away from that as soon as possible. So.
And if you're like me, you can develop signs of the crazy woman. And, of course, some signs are relative.
Signs everywhere, sign.
Yeah.
I think you should go for phone numbers instead of social media contact information.
Yeah, you don't want Man Crush Monday immediately. You want to, work up to that.
Oh, yeah, take your time. Just be cool. I mean, just separate but equal.
That doesn't even a little bit apply.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
you're
wife's
right.
Indian.
All right, moving on.
She really is, quarter.
How long is this
I
podcast?
think
You mean American Indian?
Yes.
Okay.
We were at an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay. All right.
I feel like we did not a great job with that question, but whatever.
Yeah, it was
We
all
were
right.
semi-serious.
Simpatico's probably married at this point, so.
I more or less fell into this marriage on accident.
So do we want to do our other random question, the one we had planned? Do we have time?
It'll be lengthy.
I still kind of want to
think.
make my joke.
We can save it till next week if you want.
That's fine.
Let's
What's
save
the
it till
vote?
next week.
I'm good with that.
All right. Yeah, because our dinner's also at 7, isn't it? So.
Well, it's not really a set time, but
So.
it's just kind of, I'm going to call it when we go home. So.
Okay. Well, let's go around the circle.
Okay.
Let's go around the circle, and we probably aren't going to have much of an after-party lounge, if any at all.
Because we
So-
got a cookout to have.
Yeah,
Yes,
because we have a
cooking
cookout
out.
to have.
And
We have some Patreon to talk about since we're finally all together. All right, go ahead.
We just announced it just randomly?
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. That was a total accident.
Bad.
Surprise.
Let's detract from my name is Notre Hankins on Twitter. If you get me on there,
It's Ben Hankins in real life.
It's Ben Hankins in real life. You can find me on Twitter at Notre Hankins. You can also find me on PSN at WhoBombTradey, all one word. You can find me on Xbox Live at WhoBombTradey, 3 words. You can find me on Twitch, which I will be streaming the Taken King on next Tuesday at WhoBombTradey, all one word. And yes, that's it.
All right.
Seth Meister. You can find me at
Seth Meister.
at PlayStation Network at Buttzors. That's my game. That's my PlayStation Network name. Buttzors. BUTTZORZ. Buttzors. Like the lower half of the body, well, the back half, and then the front half will be my Xbox Live gamer tag. That's Dongzors. DONGZORZ. Dongzors.
When you describe it, it just makes it so much worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Got a monopoly on the whole lower body thing going on.
All right, Larry.
I am Larry. I'm on Twitch and Twitter at Lair Hunts Zombies. LARHUNTS Zombies.
Is that all?
His phone number is
And
I don't know it.
I like video games. That's it.
All right. I'm Luke Croft. You can find me on Twitter at TK from Antioch, or you can follow it. Friend me on PlayStation Network at Lodger Blackman, or on Xbox Live at Download Hoagie. We are the Player 3 Podcast. We have a brand new subreddit,
We do.
r/Player 3 Podcast. Join the discussion. We want to try to build that community up, give people a place to interact with one another. And so go check that out. You can follow us on Twitter at Player 3 Podcast, YouTube.com/Player 3 Podcast. Listen to us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, all of those things. We are not going to have an after party lounge because we're just going to go ahead and get out of here. But we are the Player 3 Podcast.
Player 3 Podcast!
Player 3 Podcast, yeah. And just before we get out of here, Seth's telephone number is 276